Get ready, because it's time for the Savage Speeders to show what type of team they really are. Like I said previously, the gap was down to 39 points with 7 events to go, and now that gap would shrink dramatically. Event 10 was the 5-meter sprint, and velocity was chosen again. He had a lot of confidence from his 4th place in high jump, saying, quote, "I'm feeling good, and I know I'm back to my true form." And he would show that in this event. Velocity won the first heat with ease, nearly breaking the world record as well. Nonetheless, he moved on to the semifinals, while the Rangers only finished in 10th, meaning the Savage Speeders had another opportunity to close the gap even more. And now, here are the semifinals.
Discussions within that team tonight. Semifinal A, Oceanics, Green Ducks, Savage Speeders and the Hazers, Oceanics, stretching it again.
Another photo finish, win by the Speeders by only 1/1000th of a second. Now the finals were once again slightly disappointing for the Speeders. Although they got a bronze, one team that's on top got a gold medal, which meant the gap stayed at 39 points. But now, we take a look at the black hole funnel, and it was another duo event, featuring Speedy and Rapidly, who last time only got 9th together. Speedy was confident they would improve, saying, quote, "This is a time where we need a good finish, and we'll get it." And Speedy, if it's a good finish you want, it's a good finish you'll get.
How does the math work out? The Savage Speeders have done enough! They win the Black Hole Funnel event.
As the ultimate duo lived up to expectations and won a gold medal, the Speeders' first of the season. This catapulted them to 5th overall, and now they were just 15 points away from the leading O-Rangers. Confidence was high, especially with the next event being the relay race, an event the Speeders have won in 2 other Marble Leagues. For this event, they pretty much followed the same formula as the 5-meter sprint. They advanced with ease in the heats.
Oceanics coming through in the bottom couple. Savage Speeders aren't going to challenge.
And then they got another photo finish in the semifinals, which they of course won.
The battle is between the Speeders and Team Momo. We'll slow it down here. Can't really tell from that angle. Racers have it by about 6 or 8 lengths, and the Savage Speeders advance.
Now the final was a little nerve-wracking, as the O-Rangers had all the momentum, as they had the 2 best times so far, and they broke the world record by half a second. But the Speeders pulled a little worst to first comeback in the final.
O-Rangers and the Oceanics. Raspberry Racers and O-Rangers are out in front. The O-Rangers have done it again, but here come the Speeders in the lane right next to them. It's going to be the Savage Speeders that get the win.
And with that win, they've won 2 consecutive gold medals, 50 points in the last 2 events, and are now in 2nd overall, only 10 points behind the O-Rangers. And they came into high jump with a lot of momentum. Coach Quickly even claimed that the Speeders were ready. Little did they know, however, was that they were not ready at all. Wizzy was selected for high jump, and everyone put their full faith in Coach Quickly for this decision, mainly cause she's been the one coaching this comeback, so no one thought she could make any big mistakes. But this one right here was a big, big mistake, as Wizzy was the only marble unable to get past the 2nd bar, and after winning 2 consecutive events, the Speeders placed last. All they could do was hope the O-Rangers did bad as well, but Mandarin made jump after jump after jump after jump, and then one more jump to claim the gold, as the O-Rangers picked up another record and 25 points, meaning the gap increased to 35 points with 3 events to go. Mandarin made a comment after the event, saying, quote, "We clutched up. We capitalized on the Speeders' performance. It's exactly what we needed heading into the final stretch. We have a lot of breathing room now, but we can't just sit back." You might notice something, that this sounds very familiar to what Speedy said after the Speeders also had a over 30-point lead going into the final 3 events. that was back in 2017. Funny stuff. Many articles were already claiming that the O'rangers had won this Marble League. A 35-point lead is nearly impossible to come back from. But when your closest competition is the Savage Speeders, anything is possible.
So far, the Savage Speeders are out in front. In fact, all 4 of theirs are...
Next event was the Aquathlon, and this one was pretty crazy. The Speeders started by advancing past round 1. The O'rangers were placed with the Oceanics, which means things were looking really good for them. And as they entered the water, they took a 4-marble lead. But then something weird happened. I'll just let you watch it.
Their marbles are in front of the Oceanics, but now the tides changed just a little bit. They're swarmed by the Oceanics. The top 2 got across, but this is going to be a photo finish. There's the 2 for the O'rangers. Oh, look at this. The Oceanics may have done it. They did.
Yeah, O'rangers lost to the worst water team in marble sports. And this was a big opening for the Speeders, as Swiftly said, quote, "We need to capitalize on what just happened." And they did exactly that, as they made their way to the finals against the Wisps. And this one would end in another photo finish.
Speed together. This is going to be close. A dive to the inside. I'm not sure who got it. It's going to be a photo finish. Great moves. Don't be watching the first few marbles, watching that next little wave, because that's who made the difference.
But the Wisps came out on top this time. Still though, the Speeders got 20 important points to bring the gap down to 20. And now, we have collision. The Speeders had never made it past the group stage going into the collision, while the O'rangers won the event last year. So confidence was high for the O'rangers, until they placed dead last with only 1 tie. And once again, the Speeders had a big opportunity. Velocity said, quote, "We seized the opportunity the last event. Now we have an even bigger one. We know we're going to bring the gap down even more. Let's do this." The Speeders started by sweeping the group stage. This sweep included an absolute savage performance against the Bumblebees, then defeated Mellow Yellow in the quarterfinals, and they got a big help from this one domino that was responsible for 3 Mellow Yellow eliminations. In the semis, the Speeders used an asymmetrical strategy against the Minty Maniacs, and, well, it worked. Coach quickly commented on the strategy, saying, quote, "We studied the film and saw they had a weak left side, so we adjusted and it worked perfectly." Now the final. No matter what, the gap was either going to be 0 or 5 in favor of the Speeders, so they couldn't lose. But of course, the Speeders opted for the better option.
Savage Speeders going back to a more standard formation with the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts have one stalled in the middle, but here come the Planets. 4 on for the Speeders. And that's how it will remain. 4-3, the Savage Speeders get the gold and continue to chip away at that lead from the O'rangers.
They defeated the Thunderbolts in the final to win their 5th medal in the last 3 events, and they took first overall by 5 points. The media went absolutely bonkers about the result, and only 3 teams could win the Marble League. No matter what, we'll be seeing a double winner: the O'rangers, the Savage Speeders, and the Midnight Wisps. It would all come down to one more event: the marathon. The Speeders opted to use Speedy in the final. As Quickly stated, "Every time he's been in the last event, we've won the title. This was an easy choice." The event started with a qualifying run of 5 laps that would determine the seeding, and Speedy started in last place. Suddenly though, he started to make a climb, and eventually took a last-second lunge to secure a second-place starting position. Very impressive. The O'rangers and Wisps both started in the bottom half. Very good news for the Savage Speeders. But the start of the real race was less impressive. Speedy took 15th place in just 8 seconds, and the Speeders needed to readjust their strategy, as it was now a battle between the O'rangers and Speeders for points. The Wisps, however, gave the Speeders a big scare, as they were in the top 3 from laps 6 to 14, while the Speeders were still in the bottom 6. But the Wisps started to fall down the order, meaning the only worry the Speeders had were the O'Rangers. All they needed to do was to keep close with the O'Rangers and they would win. And that's exactly what Speedy did.
Minty Fresh, by the way, the first double gold medalist since 2017, and Minty Maniacs, they do get 3rd overall, so they will auto-qualify, and it may be an unconventional 9th place, but the Savage Speeders are your 2020 Marble League champions.
Even though he finished in 9th, it was enough to clinch the title, meaning the comeback was complete. They were in last after Event 2, down 51 points after Event 4, and down 35 points with 3 events to go, yet they pulled it together and defeated the O'Rangers. This is the biggest comeback in marble sports history by 10 full points, and the Savage Speeders won their 4th championship or competition this year, and also became the first double champions in the Marble League. 2020 has definitely been the year of the Savage Speeders, and this worst to first performance is definitely their absolute greatest.